Why do we see so many amateurs standing up in the downswing? There's one move here, there's one key move, and if you don't get this right, you'll be standing up for the rest of your life.
Guys, I want you to try this with me and learn how to get your fingers to rotate through the golf ball correctly. Give me a little finger wiggle like this, back of the left hand and right palm away. What we're going to show you is through impact how you actually need to take those fingers and learn to rotate them through the golf ball. This is the piece that's going to fix your early release and ultimately fix your standing up. Craig and I are going to explain exactly why that is and how you can do that. Three things I'd like to go over here in today's video. We said that for them to be able to, the golfer, stop standing up, we need to fix these wrist angles or early release during the downswing. I want to talk about why that is the case. Number two, you've got a really cool checkpoint, something that just about all good golfers do to store up and then release those wrist angles, number two. And then we'll talk through more about the drill on the way through and some of the checkpoints, starting with the why.
Definitely, right. Well, when we're looking at amateur players here, we're seeing literally millions and millions of golfers throughout the world standing up. And we don't just try and get people to stay down. That's not fixing anything. We have to get in there and find this point of failure. So it's an unconscious move. When we see amateur golfers in the downswing, losing angles here, the swing getting wider, what would happen actually if they stayed down is that they would hit it fat, right? They'd chunk it. And they're not going to do that. So they're unconsciously going to stand up to correct that and flip it. And we've got some issues now. We've got no shaft lean. We're scraping along the ground. A lot of the time we'll see the hips pause. And this is really, really, really difficult to repeat.
And so they stand up as a reaction to that early release. The club's getting farther away from them. That makes total sense to me. Why are they early releasing? Or I know you said like a lot of amateurs will early release kind of to square the face up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. When we're flipping the club head, what happens is the club head will actually rotate as well. So when we're casting and flipping and we're losing angles here, it's going to help the amateur golfer unconsciously square the face. Because what we're seeing a lot of the time is we're seeing an open club face here coming down, but not all the time. We see a lot of amateur golfers have already flipped and cast to square the club face in this part of the swing. And so when we're moving down into impact, we're seeing the golfers come into this position here. And what would really happen if they had the shaft lean, they would open the face up, present the heel to it, and they're not going to do that. And this is really the cause why they flip.
Guys, that's so important that the flip motion is in there, whether we know it or not, to square the club face up. Now, if that's true and we want to fix that, that means we need a different mechanism to close the face, which is that finger drill we're going to get to. There's a really great checkpoint that Craig talks about in terms of loading the downswing.
Yeah, when we're looking at the average on tour, the average PGA Tour player, what we'll be seeing is when the logo is directly underneath the chin, we'll be seeing a right angle. And this is a checkpoint. I mean, everyone should be filming their swing, right? The closer you get to this position, the better you're going to hit the golf ball. And what we see with amateur golfers, we'll see this position very wide here and losing and scraping along the ground. Now, to create this, or to be able to handle this position, what we need on the other side, we need that shaft leans about 12 degrees of shaft lean at impact. We need to be able to rotate those fingers ever so slightly and those wrists and those hands so that we're seeing these three fingers of the glove hand. This is your framework. This is the structure that you need. We're just seeing every single player in this position. The right knee's moved into the left. We're seeing that rotation. So from this position here, you're able to handle some angle. You're able to handle some lag, square it up at impact, and move into this proven position where all the top players are.
I love that about your coaching, guys. If you haven't seen Craig's coaching at World Class Golf, all evidence-based stuff. In order to get rid of that casting motion, you want to learn how to store it on the way down to get to that checkpoint where the logo's under the chin. And to Craig's point, once you get there, we've got to learn how to get that club face square, some of that release. And I know you have some examples in your video where you were measuring some good players who, as measured, had more of that rotation, 75 degrees or so, and the higher handicaps had less. If someone's watching, Craig, and they want to learn that move, maybe with just the hands first,
Yeah.
just as a basic drill.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. When we look at these days, obviously we can measure hand and wrist rotations. And when you're looking at evidence-based instruction, we know what the great players are doing, creating a big angle in this trail wrist and then rotating it at the end. Now, this drill is something that I love to do. And I show it to a lot of my students, actually. You just pop the right hand in your pocket and just get your glove hand, your lead hand here. What we're going to do is we're going to come down and get into this position, hold the hand underneath the chin so we've got like a right angle here. And just to become familiar with the rotation in the hands and the fingers. Getting into impact here, we're going to point the thumb towards the ball. Now on this side, when the hand's outside the lead thigh, we're going to have the thumb point towards the target. And what you can do from there is just repeat this movement, just slowly at first, and get used to it, so that you understand what the hands and the wrists are doing. And then of course, what you can do is just grip that thumb, right? Get yourself down into this position here, get familiar with this. We've got the logo, we've got the right angle, we've got a huge angle here so we can get compression, rotating into impact and through the golf ball. And one of the most important things here to notice, people, is that we're seeing a large part of this lead arm. You see how my right leg's moved in towards the left. This is your framework. This is where we need to get to. And by rotating your fingers, but seeing a large part of this lead arm, we're not rotating from the tricep, right? We're not rotating here. This is a really important thing to notice, is that if you can just simply rotate your hands and your fingers without rotating your tricep here, this is a separation point in the swing. And we've got a couple of separation points, and this is really the key to be able to hold on to these angles, rotating from the fingers and the hands without the tricep, storing up angles, and we need that pattern through the golf ball.
So good, Craig. If you can kind of get your hands down in front like that one more time. So the good version, let's do the good version on the way through. Kind of do that into the follow through if you would. There's two really good things that Craig mentioned. One, having the lead arm above the right arm. What we're not trying to do here is have a big rollover move. Let's do the bad version, where the right arm gets way above the left and the right shoulder gets really high. So that lead arm visual from the face on, I think, is really important.
So important.
And then the trail arm he mentioned, learning how to get the fingers rotating without that right tricep coming off the arm and the high right shoulder. Craig, let's do the bad one more time with the arm tricep coming off and the shoulder coming high.
This way.
Yeah, this is what we see a lot of golfers trying to do to square it. The tricep comes off the body, right to the elbows forward.
That's it.
And the shoulder gets too high. The key is, let's do the good one more time, the fingers rotating like this. You can see those last three left fingers with that right arm not coming out.
Yeah.
Shoulder high, and with the left arm above the right.
I think you can see the motion when you see all these top players. And this is the thing, just the closer you get to this, the better you hit. You just do it when you see it in slow motion. You can just see that we're pulling in, dragging this grip in for a lot of people, then getting those hands and fingers to rotate. And you actually see it starts to look good, doesn't it? It starts to look like I've got a little bit of bend, this has moved in, and we're seeing these fingers. And keeping this tricep, stopping it, preventing it from moving forwards is just the key.
Yeah, now, for someone to learn that, would you say that's a really good place for them to start, is the fingers without the tricep coming off?
Yeah, becoming familiar with something, right? Getting out there and becoming just familiar with the movement in slow motion. And look, it's not like you're going to stand on the first tee and rotate your fingers. Some people do, but you're just chipping away and improving your release pattern, becoming more effective. And this is how you get through the levels, right?
All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that video. I always love filming and working with Craig. If you'd be interested in coming to a golf school potentially with Craig and I here in the US, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if that would be of interest. The key point is that to be able to fix your standing up, you've got to fix the root issues as to why it's happening. Instead of doing the flipping and casting to square the club face up, we want to be able to do that with the rotation through the ball. And look, obviously if you get the club face more square earlier in the swing as well, that's also going to help. We've got loads of videos on that. But learning this feel, getting your fingers to rotate while keeping the left arm above the right and keeping that right arm connected to your body. Notice that arm not going out, so darn good. Leave me a comment down below if you've been interested in that golf school, any questions on the video. Look, we're on the road to 400,000 subscribers. Would love if you would click that down below. Appreciate you watching.